wicked person, you will surely die. And you do not speak out to dissuade them from their ways, that wicked person will die for their sin, and I will hold you accountable for their blood. But if you do warn the wicked person to turn from their ways and they do not do so, they will die for their sins, though you yourself will be saved. So, the Christian point of view, I'm not preaching. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. God cares about you. He cares about our soul. He cares about our mindset and how we allow the strongholds of the devil to get to us sometimes. He said, let's look at that again. He said, that person will die for their sin, and I will hold you accountable for their blood. So women and men, Christians, and you don't listen to those Christians and they warn you, guess what? The dirt is off my shoulder. I can dust the dirt off my shoulder. I don't have to worry about what God is going to do to me. But I have to worry about what he's going to do to me if I do not warn you. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Christian point of view. This is not just a channel, guys. This is a journey. And before I get started on this channel, I just gave you the intro. Again, I am not a preacher. I am not a life coach. I am not a licensed psychiatrist. But I am a believer in God's holy word. And I'm going to take me a sip of water. And what I want you to do while I do that, and this is to refresh my physical body, I want you to hit that like and subscribe button. I have given you time to hit that like and subscribe button. Now I'm just finna get into it. If you don't hit that like and subscribe button, you're gonna be left behind. Guys, what do I want to talk about today? Dun dun dun. What do I want to talk about today, guys? What do I want to talk about today? Again, dun dun dun. What are we gonna talk about today? We're gonna talk about this guy, Sean Diddy Combs, and we're gonna talk about a little bit about Cassie and her testimony that was given and started on yesterday. But I'm coming from the Christian point of view, so I want to talk about two perspectives because we all have our perspectives. And guys, before I get started on all of what I want to talk about with this trial, this is going to be the day set aside on Wednesdays on my channel where I'm going to give my reactions and the Christian point of view on issues of the world, trending topics, whatever is going on in the world. On Wednesdays, tune in because I will be giving the Christian point of view on trending topics like this. Now, back to what I was talking about, Diddy, and the two perspectives that I want you to gain when you leave here. What money can do to certain people, and the fact that money is not the problem. It's just that the love of money is the problem. And we have to remember that, because we read scriptures and we gloss over them real fast, and we miss the time of meditation where we really get the gist of what God is trying to say through his word. When Paul said that to Timothy, it meant more than what we take it for. So from Diddy's perspective, he is popular. He is wealthy, rich, whatever. He's got plenty of money and he's got plenty of power. He used that power to manipulate. He used that power to get his way. And we all look at him and we say he's despicable. He is an evil person. He is now ostracized in our culture. And it's understandable. But I'm not gonna give my opinion on who I think Diddy is and who I think Cassie is. I'm giving the Christian point of view on how we got here, the crux of the problem, the root cause analysis. Diddy had power. He used that power to manipulate and to get his way. That's Diddy. Now let's look at Cassie. Let's look at Cassie. I want to look at her because we seem to always have our point of view, and we seem to have, what we deem as righteous and what we deem to be wrong. But let's look at Cassie. We don't know Cassie personally. I don't know Cassie personally, but we don't know how she met Diddy. We don't know why she allowed herself to be taken through what she was taken through. We can give her the victim title. We can say that she's courageous because she got away. We can say that she wanted the fame, the lifestyle, the popularity, and she ended up getting the short end of the stick because of her fleshly desires. And I'm not going to give her none of those titles. Like I said, I'm leading you to the crux of the problem. She's a young lady. She's naive, and she was manipulated. Now, let's look at the crux of the problem. Let's look at it from both perspectives. We're going to look at the crux of the problem from both perspectives. What is the crux of the problem? For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. One root cause. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Now let's look at it. Look at that from Sean Diddy Combs' point of view. From the perspective of Diddy, I'll say from the perspective of Diddy. I will look at it. That's the perspective I want to look at. I don't want to point fingers. I'm not gonna give my opinion, but it says, "For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil." Now, what does that mean from the Diddy perspective? We're going to look at it from that perspective. And from that perspective, his love for money, his love for power, his love for fame, he had a track record. And I want to give the Christian point of view from that perspective. He had a track record of creating stars and making people stars in the industry that he was in. Now, a big question, and in the comments, or you can comment, you can give your answer. Why is it so easy to trust somebody like Diddy's track record and fall into his web of deceit, but we can't trust God's track record? And no one can understand. You know what? I can't say that. I'm gonna give you his track record, and I want to see. I'm gonna dust the dirt off my shoulder, like the intro said. God's track record. He created the heavens and the earth. He created human beings. He gave us a living soul. He saved us by sending his son to live, die, be buried, and resurrect, so that we do not have to be worried about the power and the sting of death. That's God's track record. What is Diddy's track record? He's taken men and women, produced songs for them. Some of them became stars, some of them didn't. That's his track record. He had a liquor called Ciroc. People bought it, they drank it, made them feel like they were somebody because they paid a lot for some liquor. Money is the root of all kinds of evil. This man had a track record, and people fell into his web of deceit because he had a track record. He had to be able to do whatever because he had the money and the power and the respect. So we have to trust his track record. We've seen it. We've seen what he can do, so to speak. And we hold on to that until we see the true content of his character, which we're seeing right now, which was revealed long ago. We glossed over it. We ignored it. Now we want to expose his character. So, money is the root of all kinds of evil. Okay? That's from Diddy's perspective. Let's look at it from Cassie's perspective. From the perspective of Cassie. Let's look at it from the perspective of Miss Cassie Ventura. Cassie's a young lady. She met Diddy. He's got this reputation. She's naive. She wants to be a star in music. She wants to be a star. He promises her that she will be a star. She looks at his track record. Again, she looked at his track record. Why don't we do this with God? That's the Christian point of view. But I'm just going to give you from the perspective of Cassie. He's got a track record of producing stars on his record label. Bad Boy, Can't Stop, Won't Stop. She is enamored with that. In that process, she also develops romantic feelings for him. He uses all of his power and influence. He gives her just enough rope to hang herself. He reels her in, and that's it. And from her perspective, I want to be a star. This man can help me get to that just a little bit faster. and the grind probably won't be as hard. So money is the root of all kinds of evil. Now we're going to go back to the crux of the problem. The crux of the problem. Okay. Some have been led astray from the faith in their greed. Okay. Now let's look at that from Diddy's perspective and Cassie's perspective again. The Diddy perspective. Let's look at it from Diddy's perspective. Led astray from the faith by all kinds of greed. Now you're given this power. You feel untouchable. Your ego is growing day by day. People are looking at you like you are a god. When people bring up your name, you are looked at and held in such high esteem. What does that do to the human psyche? I don't need God. The people that are around me, they are beneath me. The women that I deal with, I can get them to do what I want them to do because they're not going to find another man that can do for them what I do for them. Led astray from the faith by all kinds of greed. The crux of the problem. Diddy is saying to himself, who can touch me? For years, he's had enough money to get lawyers to quiet people, shut people up. We hear all the stories now. People fearing for their lives. But God said this, the Christian point of view. Do not fear the man that can only kill the body, but fear the one who can kill the body and the soul. So we're hearing the stories, the allegations being brought up against Diddy. They're ignored up until the point where we see that he actually beat this woman the way that she said he beat her. That's the Diddy perspective of being led astray. You think you're untouchable. You think you are God. Now let's look at it from the Cassie perspective. Let's look at it from Cassie's perspective. Miss Ventura, led astray from the faith by greed. Young again, impressionable. Again, somebody's promising her the world. He propositions you, i.e. the allegations, the stories that's being told right now as we speak during this trial, during her testimony even. You're hearing disgusting, despicable things that you were forced to do. But you said it was because you wanted to please him and because you loved him. Now, you had music on the radio. You were in movies. But you said your job while being with him became all about doing these quote unquote freak offs. But what did it afford you? A lifestyle that you probably thought I could never obtain on my own. This is not to knock her. We're just getting to the crux of the problem in culture, period. That's what we're doing. This is not a channel. This is a journey, guys. So you're looking at a young lady who is impressionable. Diddy knows this. Easy to manipulate. I got the money. I got the power. I can get her to do what I want. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get me an insurance policy. I'm going to proposition her, see how far she's willing to go to please me. Because I got the money. I got the power. She does it one time. Now I can lord over her. Hey, you don't do it again. I'm going to tell everybody you did it once. Miss Ventura, fearing for her career and being able to take care of herself and her family, she continues this for 10 years. It's not to knock her. We're getting to the crux of the issues that we're dealing with in culture. Now let's look at the crux again. Then the crux of the problem says, and have pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Okay, let's look at that from the Diddy perspective first. Have pierced themselves with many sorrows. How true that is, and how it's not a lie. It's the crux of our issues in society. How has Diddy done that? How has Diddy done that? He's pierced himself with many sorrows because now his reputation has been ruined, and that's all we have. You probably looking at me like I'm crazy, but Proverbs 22:1 says, your name and your reputation is better than gold, than rubies. So now he's been pierced with sorrow. His reputation is ruined. And now he's paying legal fees out the wazoo to try to keep himself from being incarcerated for probably the rest of his life. And at the end of the day, from the Christian point of view, he has hurt a lot of people that care about him. Not just Miss Cassie Ventura, but his daughters. He has daughters. And to look and listen and watch as these stories are being told about your father. And you're saying to yourself, he did that to these young ladies. That's not the man that I know. Or is it? And I just didn't care either because I'm living in a big house. I got nice things. I can buy what I want. And my daddy is Diddy. And everybody looks up to him. I can get whatever I want at my disposal at any time because my daddy is Diddy. So when you're looking at all of that, it says pierced with many sorrows. Now let's look at this from Miss Cassie's point of view. From Miss Cassie Ventura's point of view, pierced with many sorrows. She's pierced with many sorrows. How? Think about it. This picture says it all. Her reputation. Because no matter what, there are divided thoughts on this. We can give this young lady many titles. We can say she's courageous. We can say that she got away. We can say she was in it for the money, the fame, the lifestyle. Think about it. You now have a reputation of someone who did some unthinkable things sexually for a man that you said you were in love with, but he didn't show you any love. And you say you were young, understandable. But why did you really allow yourself to get caught up in that? But you also have to look at it, the picture, again, worth 1,000 words. She's pregnant, 8-9 months, and on a witness stand, giving a testimony, reliving horrible events in her life where she was just uh, humiliated in my eyes. That's sorrow. She has a husband who has to relive this with her, who has to still say, this is the Cassie I know now. That Cassie right there is gone. That Cassie right there is dead and gone. The Cassie I know right now who's carrying my child, I love her unconditionally. She is an awesome woman and she's living her life now. And I am going to stick by her as she goes through this because they're using her to get this man out of society. And it's understandable. So he can't do another woman like this. The crux of the problem. Now, we say a lot of times and we hear a lot of times, money is the root of all kinds of evil. The love of money. See, we leave that word love out and we just say that money is the root. But the love of money is the root. And I hope that I broke that down for you so that you can see that it's not money. It's what happens when you idolize money. And in our society, what this does to our society is it has hurt us. Because that's what you got people that think money makes them untouchable. We have people that build their reputation off of being rich, and people stop caring about the content of their character. And we got people that think that money is the answer to all of their problems. And they're willing to do whatever it takes to get that money so they can have the life that they desire. The root cause is not money. It's us and our love and how we idolize money. So, guys, I want you to reprogram your thinking. I want you to think about what you are allowing to dwell in your spirit. And I want you to understand that we got to get back and recover the life that the devil is trying to take from us each and every day. And we do that by getting in God's word, believing what he says, not what man says, but what God says. And remembering, he may not be there when you want him, but he'll be there in the nick of time. Peace, guys. And I love you. And I'm out. Until next time.